So how do potions even work? God, how reasonable is it to use them during a fight anyway, I wonder? I guess we'll see. How do I buy potions? That's a vat of heart potion. Drink this, dear, and it'll replenish 8 hearts. Why don't you pick some up over your adventure? Yeah. I'm rich. What a hearty meal you've got there. I gotta click through all this dialogue every time you buy something. Definitely one of my least favorite elements of Japanese game design is the insistence on dialogue for merchanting. You're just like, just get me through it. No, just give it to me. Oh wait, what are these? Shit, I forgot. Guardian potion makes you invincible. $200. I just want to see what they fucking are. Maybe I wouldn't have to explain what they are if you put a sign. You put down a sign. You fool. Vitalizing potion. Simply pour it into a broken oh, yeah, that one. Okay, no, stop. Let me. Okay, just please, just let me. Okay. Hello. Welcome to my little side business. I infuse potions. You read this before. You give me the Luigi voice because I sound like Luigi a little bit. These are the potions you're currently carrying that I can infuse. Now it's a super potion. You use butterflies and that dickhead over there. Completely restores all hearts, okay? I can improve this potion. I said, sure, that's what you want. I'm only half reading these lines because I'm mostly just trying to get to the boss fight. Hold on. Here you are. I hope I didn't set your expectations too high. Plus. 8 hearts? No, all hearts. Can I infuse these? Plus. Can be used twice. Shit. That'll keep me going. Hey, the music synced up with his little gesture of frivolity and celebration and shit. This would be so fast if it was just a menu. It would be so fast. Because it's a Zelda game, it's so slow. No, what? It like slingshot back for some reason. Let's just use the joystick. I was forgetting to do that. Okay, so it cost me... No, this button? There we go. It cost me butterflies? I have no butterflies left. Okay, I was like, should I get another potion bottle and fill that one up? But I don't have any more butterflies, so that's out the window. But I can switch out my items, because a lot of these are useless now. What do these do? How do I look at what it does? What's the difference between a life medal and a heart medal? How do I look at things? 2, 1, plus, minus. What items... What do items do in this game? I have another life medal and another heart medal. B, can you tell me what it does? What button do I... There has to be a way to read what an item does in this game, right? There's no way. That inventory is not here. I want the give me more hearts one. What's the more hearts one? Yeah. They made really similar items, so you'd want to be able to tell the difference between them by having the ability to have the game tell me what they do. Do I have more hearts? Shit, how many hearts did I have? I think I have fewer hearts, so I think that's the wrong one. There should definitely be like a button I can press to get a description, or use this giant empty part of the screen to explain what an item is, instead of not doing that. Okay, now I've got... Oh, you can see the hearts change in the corner. So I could have done that a little faster at least. Okay. Alright, where is a stool? There's gotta be stools, or yeah, like everywhere around here. Seems like you're on the road to success, little friend. How about I buy us a beverage? Oh, I can interact with these people by sitting down. There's a good lad. Cheers. That was a sound. That's the stuff. There we go. Let me share a bit of wisdom with you. The sky is filled with floating islands of all shapes and sizes. Skyloft just happens to be the one we call home. And no one knows when they were created, or just how it is that they stay airborne. The only thing I can tell you with any certainty is that we owe all of it, and that includes our life here, to the generosity of the goddess. I've been missing dialogue this whole time. You looking to get your grub on? The food here is so good. You gotta be patient though, it seems like you wait forever for anything around here. As opposed to what? Like, what is your standards really? What other food place? I guess there's the pumpkin place? That's the only food, but that's the only other food place in society. Hope you like the one menu that's here. It seems to be a pot too, so it's like whatever's in that pot. That's their whole menu. Keep her busy. Alright, so I've got some bonus hearts and I've got super healing. I don't know how hard it might be to use a healing item in the middle of a fight. Like, is it like Estus fast or faster fast, like a Bloodborne, whatever the blood things were, a blood vial? Or is it like Chronos, where it's like a suicide pact to even try to use one? You're like, oh god, this is a 10-second animation. I need to like run a football field away from the boss. Maybe, I mean, Zelda is weird, so Zelda might just pause the game while you're drinking it. There's a lot of pause moments that don't always make sense, so you never know when they might go that way. Don't suppose you could like maybe they could have, you know, had a final boss fight not be a portal. Maybe the final boss fight's like in the sky somewhere. Like maybe I have to fly to it, you know? You know. And then if I had to fly to the final boss fight, maybe I'd have to do like a little combat thing where I have to spin at some stuff. And then my poor Loft Wing could help me defeat the final boss. Like obviously the whole combat system is based around ground combat, and that's always going to be how it's going to end. But like maybe on the way to the boss, I have to like break through a barrier where I have to like attack these things with my my Loft Wing. You know, the thing that's on the cover of the game. Like, maybe the thing on the cover of the game could still be relevant at the end of the game and not be, like, forgotten about. I don't know, maybe there'll be, like, a follow-up fight where it comes up. I'm just saying that if the Loft Wing doesn't do anything in the finale at all, that's a strange finale to put in the game that has the Loft Wing in it. Where you put the Loft Wing on the cover and it's like, that's the thing that's special about this playthrough. The Loft Wing. It's so important. The Loft Wing is such a missed opportunity. In two ways at once, too. Like, it's simultaneously because I don't really like how it controls or how it feels to use the Loft Wing, but also on top of that, it's like really underutilized. They essentially just have a normal Zelda game, except the Hyrule town, or whatever the major town is of the game, is scattered across the sky, and you have to play a flying minigame to get to it. From one part of it to another part of it. But that's about it. That's like mostly what the Loft Wing does. They did give it a mechanic a little bit for the whale, but the whale's not this. You definitely would expect him to come up here. They might have cornered themselves a little bit by making the final boss fight be at the bottom of a drill-shaped hole that you have to drill towards. Master Box, I have important information. Yeah, 0% chances to return, period. Even if you succeed. If you succeed, you'll still die. That'd be grim, right? Know that even in the place that lies beyond this portal, I will be with you, because I'm in the sword, in case you forgot. And, Master, good luck. Yeah, 'cause she has the diamond, she has that diamond-shaped gem on her chest. So suddenly you're like, oh, Ghirahim with all the diamonds, because he was always the evil sword all along. He was the slave sword, I guess, because master-slave dialectic. That's where I went with that. We went with Hegel, I guess. Ah, so you've decided to meet your end in battle after all. This looks like the sky. Maybe it will bring the Skyloft back. Loft Wing back. It pleases me greatly to see such misplaced valor, human. Oh no, this is water. Take a moment to appreciate your surroundings, for where we stand shall serve as your tomb for eternity. The hate for the gods that has boiled in my veins. You will taste all of it in the bite of my blade. The only question left is how long you will manage to remain standing before I take your life. Try to keep it interesting for me, would you? And when you do fall, know that your world and everything in it is mine to dominate, mine to subjugate, mine to rule. When I finish with you, you can take solace in knowing your friends and kin will soon follow, as I wipe all who oppose me from the face of this world. It won't be long now. At last, the almighty power I've sought for millennia. I will take the Triforce for my own. Really fucked up by gathering it for me, huh? And the world shall be under my foot for eternity. Let me introduce you, sir, to something called the Zelda timeline. It doesn't bode well for your plans. Yeah. What? He's magic. Okay. The fake out doesn't work. God damn it, shield. Yep. All right. Woo! All right, what's the rule here? Swing at me! Oh, come on. Yeah. Yeah. I'm confused about the rules of when I'm allowed to hit him. God damn it. Come on! It'd be so much less frustrating if the controls just always worked exactly the same every time in a really consistent and not exhausting and throwing my arm out while also not always working. Like I'm trying. Come on! He's missing me. I have to aim his attack for him apparently, because he can't hit me. All right. Uh-oh. Oh. Ow. I'm not totally sure what I'm supposed to be doing a lot of the time during this. Ah! How do I drink again? Fuck. Oh, yeah, it's your... No, it's not the shield. Wait. Why did the thing that I... What? I selected the fucking... I selected the fucking potion. Why was my shield back? God, the controls in this game are not good for combat. They're too finicky for combat. Wait, how do I drink things? Shit, it's not the shield. This is really inconsistent and frustrating. Okay, so I guess you're supposed to press A to drink, which I guess makes sense, but they make it so that you select the shield with the minus button, and then you use the shield by shaking your left hand. So why wouldn't you use this left hand to use every minus item? That's how Zelda controls work. You hold B to select B items, and then you press B to use the B item. So then you just hold. If holding selects a weapon, a thing where most of the game I'm using the left hand to use, why would only one of the items be used by my left hand, but all the other ones are used by A? That's fucking weird. Ah. Work every time, come on. Yes, Fee. The integrity of your yes, Fee. I thought you were gonna give me advice. That's useful. Oh, great. Well, now I'm really fucked. Alright, fuck. Oh my god, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. I don't want to be here. These controls are so fucking finicky. I have to, like... Alright, let's try this again. It's been a few hours, actually, since the first part of this video. End of day interruption. No, just load my save. What? There we go. I'm just like, hey, Zelda. You might be fundamentally misunderstanding why many people save games. All right, these dates are so far off. I have not corrected my Wii U about what year it is. Honestly, like, let it bask in the glory of thinking that it's that year. Like, the beautiful naivete and all that. Downside is I probably have to rewatch all the cutscenes, but the upside is my health is full and I have all of my potions. Definitely would have been ideal if the continue loaded your character how they were right before the fight started, instead of throwing you back outside, but with your stuff used up. So, despite my prep work, using potions kind of seems like a huge pain in the ass because he just chases you and does a ton of damage to you, and it's kind of clunky and awkward to try to switch to a potion and try to use it in the middle of the stuff. Like, I don't know about that. I might have to try to beat it in one go. So it might have been better to hunt down fairies, so I at least had more than one. This is not difficult. I'm not easy though. Oh, I can skip? Cool. Alright, so blocking was a struggle, so I'm gonna see if I can get more luck with dodging. What's dodge again? A, okay. Oh. I got through. Interesting. I can't consistently go left and right at the speed that I want to, but it seems to work. If I go back and forth enough, eventually it like kind of hits. Ah, shit. Ah, my wrist is sore. I'm a sad baby. It keeps registering as being an attack in the same direction over and over again, which is annoying. I'm trying to quickly go left and right, but it's hard to actually make it read that way. Yeah, wiggling doesn't really get it. I'm not really sure how to get what I want. Ah, shit. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to figure out the finesse to it, but I can never get him to strike left then right. I just have to kind of spam it a lot, but that's bad because spamming makes it hard to dodge. What? Really? So far this is Ghirahim, but boring? Okay, this makes it harder because I have to deal with the fact that he's lightning-y now. So now I don't want to hit his weapon at all. Ow. Yeah, I don't... When do I hit him? Ow. When am I supposed to hit him, really? There we go. What? I didn't hit his sword, though. Okay, can I do this? Please? Oh, is the rule that I have to stand still? I can't strafe. Shit. Dude, no. God damn it, do the fucking Skyward thing. I guess I'm not allowed to? Why am I not allowed to do it? Okay. Why did it work then? When does it happen? I don't get it. Hello? What am I doing wrong? Nah. I can't dodge when I'm doing that. I have to not have the potion selected. What? Bullshit. What? I didn't hit his sword. This is annoying. Do I? No, point up. There we go. Fuck. What causes it to work? I don't get it. What? No, point up. Ah, fuck. Every time I get it, he hits me. Stop it. Hello? I don't understand this fight. What's going on? So you can't... Okay. You can't do a Skyward Sword while you're holding your shield for some reason, which is kind of nonsense. I don't know how you'd figure that out. It's just kind of random. God damn it, I wanted to run, not put my sword away. There's too many things. The A button does too many things in this game. I just wanted to run to avoid his attack. I didn't want to put my sword away. I just charged up a thing. God fucking damn it, literally everything makes it go away. There's so many different things that make me lose the lightning effects. God fucking damn it. Hey, he got up. Fuck me. Gah. God damn it. Work. Hello? Ah, god damn it. That's really cool looking. Is it gonna be rule of threes? Ow. No, don't swing back. God damn it. Charge up the thingy thing. God damn it. It's so fucking finicky. God damn it. When does it? I don't know the rules. When does it work? Work. Ah, fuck. You can't block that. Why? My shield's immune to lightning. Why didn't I block it? I shook my left hand. That's all it is. That's the whole control scheme. Ugh. God fucking damn it. I'm being so fucking frustrated right now. Hello? Why I don't get it. What the fuck? What do you want from me, game? I don't have any potions. How does it work? Why doesn't it work? God damn it. Ugh. What? It's like it's fucking with me. Work. There we go. Oh, shit. I don't know. Ambiguous mechanics are very frustrating when the game's trying to be challenging. It's like, how does the thing work? I don't know how it works. I'm trying to play the game. I like to understand how a boss fight, like, works mechanically. It's fucked. It's rough to when you have too much of a Venn diagram of like challenging and puzzling at the same time. But it's like, it's actively murdering me and I don't know what to do. Extraordinary. Fuck. You fight like no man or demon I have ever known. Though this is not the end. My hate never perishes, and is born anew in a cycle with no end. I will arise again. Those like you, those who share the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero, they are eternally bound to this curse. An incarnation of my hatred shall ever follow your kind, dooming them to wander a blood-soaked sea of darkness for all time. I have confirmed the eradication of the Demon King. His residual consciousness has been absorbed into the Master Sword, and is now sealed away. I'm kind of in camp. I'm kind of in the original camp again of like, or I probably never left, honestly. Of just like, I don't know if this needed to have motion controls this whole game. They're just kind of distracting, and they get in between me and just playing the game in most cases, and there just isn't that much like innovative use of the motion controls that makes the game more fun. Like the flying is actually just exclusively more annoying and less fun than it would have been if it just was done with a controller. And like the combat, sometimes you can aim a little better with the motion controls, but only when they work perfectly, because sometimes they freak out and glitch and go crazy, or the fact that it's gyroscope only just leads to weird inputs where you're like, ah, shit, no, that's not what I meant. And you end up pointing at a weird direction, and you have to try to fight that and fix it and so on. So it's just the sword play, but the sword play, as we've been over and over again, it's not one-to-one. So it's not like when I use the Valve Index, for example, when I waggle my hand around, unless something goes really wrong, every motion of my hand is tracked. But when I started waggling during boss fights, the sword doesn't really follow my hand motions. Like, it'll follow the first motion, but then the moment it does one motion, it then is stuck in animation locked motions where each individual swing has a specific duration and a specific speed, and that's the only way you can swing the sword in this game. And since that's never going to be exactly the way that you're swinging your weapon, when you turn around and try to swing the opposite direction, like cutting left and right, for example, over and over again, on a regular basis, I'll go left and then I'll go right, and then it just won't go right. It'll just only go left. And then like the recovery bounce from me going left to right will just make it go left again. So it'll end up swinging left twice, and I'm like, I went left and then right. How did it go left twice? And it's just like, it gets really ambiguous and messy really quick. Meanwhile, you keep expecting the game to like move the way that you're moving, so I'm like, okay, I swung a couple of times and here comes the attack. I'm gonna raise my left hand in a quick motion to try to raise my shield, and then it just doesn't, and I'm like, fuck. Then you add that, like, one of the most finicky things. There's a lot of finicky moments throughout the motion controls, but some of the finickiest ones are stuff like the Skyward Strike. Like trying to point your thing up and get it to work and be like, come on, now, like all the way up through the end of the game, whenever I did a Skyward Strike, I pretty much always had to like awkwardly waggle my hand around up in the air, trying to find what it counted as being north, I mean as being up, and then trying to hold that long enough and then do a shake. And like, it was always a few seconds of like, it's like finicking, it's like messing with like TV antenna. We were like, is the signal good now? I don't know. And like, it was a little exasperating during the tentacle boss fight, but that one was just slow enough and kind of low stakes enough that I could get away with kind of like charging it up and then swinging and then charging up and then I swinging. But this last boss fight I did, where I had to mix that motion with also swinging my sword and also blocking and dodging and all this other stuff, like, we're starting to get really mechanically demanding. And what, you know what's really good for mechanically demanding games? A controller where the buttons just do what they're supposed to do, and everything is and doing an input's like instantaneous, and it's really consistent and really reactive, and it really works and so on. But like all these waggle controls, like I feel like these might be better for slower paced games or for shooters, I guess, in some cases, or for like party games and adventure games and stuff that's like not Sekiro. Like, I would never want to play Sekiro with the Wiimote and a nunchuck, or trying to like, oh yeah, I can totally get my guy to do all the inputs I want with this controller, it'll work perfectly. And like, the issue with having a final boss in a game like this is that you start leaning towards that part of the curve. Like, that was not a Sekiro boss fight, to be clear, like, obviously, but yeah, like the fact that you're like, I have to react to all of his inputs perfectly and also do all of my inputs at the perfect time, and it all has to work perfectly on the first try. Like, there's like enough issues here. There's like the finickiness of the strange controller inputs. There's the inconsistency of the motion controls, where it's just like, I don't know if it's working or not in many cases. You're like, is this which has its own several layers. Like, is it the game's questionable implementation of motion controls, or is it specific to my controller or whatnot, or something going on here? Because if you look at the comments, you generally just have a bunch of people that are like, it's a complete spectrum of like people that are like, yeah, no, I had all sorts of problems with the motion controls in this game, versus like, no, it's perfect, it's flawless, it's the best video game I've ever played, and it has the best controls of any game ever, and like the whole spectrum in between, and a lot of extremes and so on. So there's no real consistent take on the motion controls. And you would think after like 50 hours of playing one game, that'd be a pretty consistent take by the end of the playthrough. With like, oh yeah, no, once it takes like 10 hours to get used to it or whatever, but it's perfect, yeah, it's great. It's like, nah, I never really got there, unfortunately, which is a bummer. I wanted it to, because you know, like, I'm not like biased against the game and be like, man, I sure hope the controls break so I can complain about them. It's like, no, I want the controls to feel good so I can feel good all the times that they otherwise didn't feel good. Like, I'm not like out against this game. In fact, I seem to be more positive about this game than people generally are. Like, in the comment section, people get defensive about this game because they do about every Zelda game and so on. It's like, how could you be, you just want to hate this game and so on. But like, this game's like infamously the worst 3D Zelda is like the consensus, supposedly. And I'm like, no, this is fine overall. Like, this game's fine. But yeah, overall the motion controls I'm not a fan of. And what's funny is like I think the consensus was supposed to be the idea that if you don't like the motion controls, you'll hate the game, and if you love the motion controls, you'll love the game. And I don't really like the motion controls at all, but I still think the game's fine. I just don't love the fact that this is how you have to experience the whole game the whole time, you know? I don't know. It's too much. There's also ambiguity of like, there's like gestures that you're trying to input, but like people move differently from person to person. So like you never know like the way that I'm moving versus the way that you're moving. Like how does that differently affect the read? Like do you happen to just more intuitively do the correct gestures for what these inputs are and so on? I don't know. I don't know. How does everybody hold a Wiimote? Does it people hold them slightly differently? Like do they idle at different angles? Or who knows what's? I don't know. But like when you press the A button, it's just the A button. So that you don't have to teach people what you mean by the A button. But like when it comes to like some of these things like the shield and whatnot, suddenly it might be like, I don't know, like do I even know how to do this game correctly? I start gaslighting myself and questioning if I even know how to play at some point, despite having played this far. And some of it's just the fact that the game being suddenly mechanically demanding is not consistent with the rest of the game as far as like being mechanically demanding with your sword play. Because you can pretty much get by without being very good at the sword combat. Like, although like that's a whole spectrum from person to person, I guess, because like there's people that were saying that I was like way too good at this game supposedly, and like I just destroyed the pirate guy on the ship level like instantly and didn't even get to see like his mechanics or whatever. And I was like, what, really? That was that guy was supposed to be a big deal? Like I mean cinematically he looked like he was supposed to be a big deal, but I deleted him like immediately and he was no challenge. So like on that level I'm supposedly destroying the game, but at the same time I feel completely incompetent when I face something like that Ganondorf looking guy. And it's like I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know where to go from here. Whatever. You have done well, Box. Box. Thank you. I think it's over. Finally, it's all over. Nice going, you two. You guys were really totally amazing in this little adventure I like to call the Legend of Groose. That's a little joke. Joke or not, your contributions to our efforts were heroic. You have my thanks. Ah, well, you know, just glad I could make myself useful. I'm happy things turned out okay. Hey, so things look pretty sewn up here. What do you say, guys? Ready to head back to our own time? Granny was really worried about you two. We don't want to keep the old girl in suspense too long. Hi, Leah. Your Grace. Or perhaps you prefer Zelda. It pleases me to know you are safe. Master, I must speak with you. Are there two Zeldas here right now? Because there's another Zelda that's currently in stasis, right? So this is the second Zelda that's like one room away from creating a time paradox with herself. I was about to say like, oh, Impa gets to just go home and doesn't do the whole stasis thing now, huh? But no, she totally has to do it. Wait, does she? Wait, brain paradoxes. Oh, Jesus. Oh no, I don't know. Cause like, yes, she has to guard Zelda into the future, but at the same time, they came back in time and killed Demise now. So this Demise is dead. So then you could think like, okay, that means Demise in the future is dead. That means Demise is gone. But then in the future, why would Zelda be in
Why would she ever come back in the future to go into stasis if Demise is already dead in the past? So there's no Demise to threaten him, so there's no reason for Ghirahim to exist, so nobody ever attacks Zelda in modern day, so the whole game never actually happens. So, which I guess is why Zelda timelines tend to be non-linear. They tend to branch instead of looping in on themselves, which means that what actually we did is we created one timeline where Demise wins and one timeline where Demise is defeated in the past. Do we need to go to the future now to meet Demise defeat Demise in the future? Because then we'll have one branch where Demise wins, one branch where Demise dies 1,000 years ago, and one branch where Demise dies in modern day. So it's 3 different branches, and the Highlands Historia is gonna go fucking crazy, and it gets really time travel storylines. Jesus. Master Box, you have successfully protected the goddess reborn and defeated Demise, fulfilling your role as the hero of legend. Our purpose here is complete. Therefore, I ask you to dissolve our arrangement as master and servant. Drive the sword into the pedestal before you, and I will return to the sword to enter a sleep without end. Master, you have achieved the purpose you were chosen to fulfill. Please, set the sword in the pedestal and bring the goddess's mission to an end. Now, Master, it is time to conclude our necessary companionship. Box. Box, hear me. My purpose was to obey the command of the goddess and lead you, the chosen hero of this land, on your quest. When I first awoke and began this task, I perceived it as merely serving my function as a servant to her grace. However, I have come to consider the information corresponding to our time together among the most precious data I have on record. Oh, that's sweet. You're no Midna, though. I do not have the capability to fully understand the human spirit, Box. But now, at the end of my journey with you, as I prepare to sleep within the Master Sword forever, I experience a feeling I am unable to identify. I lack sufficient data to be sure of my conclusion, but I believe this feeling correlates closest to what your people call happiness. Our partnership is at an end, and even as we speak, I feel my consciousness fading away. Before I enter the sleep that calls me to the sword, I wish to relay to you words that I recorded many times over the course of our journey. Many have said them to you thus far, but I now wish to say them for myself. Thank you, Master Box. May we meet again in another life. And so this establishes that isn't Fee in the Master Sword in every game then? Just sort of silently helping you as every iteration of Link? That's always a risky thing to include in your canon, right? That's some Doctor Who stuff, where like, this particular companion has secretly been in every iteration of your life forever, and it's the most important character in your universe. It's like, hope everyone liked that companion. What? Impa? Why? Come with us. Zelda, your grace. You possess the memories of the goddess. You must understand why that is not possible. I am a being of this age. My place is here. I know that, but... You must return to your own time. I will take care of the gate once you have passed through. I can't do that. You and I have been through so much together. I don't want to leave you alone. Please, Impa, come back with us. Zelda. At the command of the goddess, I passed through the gate of time. I did so to protect you and aid the fight to prevent the world's destruction. The last remnants of Demise are decaying slowly within the sword. Someone must stay behind to watch over this blade. His spirit must not reawaken. He must never be allowed to threaten the world again. Ah, they're dealing with the time paradox by just not acknowledging it. I see. I was like, she's gonna say that she has to stay here because she still has to watch over the other Zelda that's in that room. But no, we're not even gonna talk about how the fuck time works in the storyline, and we're just gonna come up with a new MacGuffin-y explanation for why Impa has to stay here, which is that she has to watch over the sword's corruption and stuff. This is the nature of the task given to my tribe. As a member of the Sheikah, the goddess's chosen guardians, I gladly welcome this duty. Zelda, I shall watch over the Triforce. Its power is too great to leave in the grasp of man. Dependence on its might is an invitation to disaster. When it has served its purpose, it must be secreted away to lie dormant once again, the knowledge of its existence hidden from mortal history. These are the words the goddess spoke to me long ago. I remember them well, as do you, I'm sure. Do not despair, Zelda. You and I will surely meet again someday. See?
I told you we'd meet again.
Oh, you had never met. Or you kinda did? Right when Ghirahim kidnapped you? So you didn't really have a chance to talk. Oh! Well, that's kind of a bummer. Jesus! That's unnecessary. You killed her. Impa, thank you. Thank you for everything. The sword, it's gone. What are we gonna do? We did it! Every 3D Zelda defeated. We finally got... I'm caught up. I started with the most recent one, Breath of the Wild, and now, 3 years later, I'm completely caught up on 3D Zeldas. By which I mean ones that are not top-down. Obviously there are spin-offs also too, but also like there are some top-downs that are 3D graphics now, but that's a different category clearly. I was about to say that I hope they innovate, or even just go in a particular direction with their innovation next, but then I remembered that the most recent one, Breath of the Wild, is a pretty big departure, so I guess that did happen. I just didn't get to experience the refreshingness of it in the correct order, because I started there, more or less. See? I was right to just not play Zelda games growing up, because then I can be like, haha, look, it's me, the guy that's never played Zelda games before. I played all the Zelda games. And I don't agree with any of you about which ones are the best ones, or why they're good, and which ones are bad, and what. We can all argue all day, and then it drives up engagement. The videos do better. They definitely fell into a rut. Yeah. They had a particular... Like, they were stabbing into new territory a bit with Ocarina, and then they went fucking crazy with Majora's Mask and went into a whole direction there. And then they kind of fell into a rut. Because Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword kind of... Like, there's other iterations going on too, but they did, to an extent, all fixate on the same gimmick. Because every Zelda game has a gimmick. There's always like, this is the thing that goes on the cover. Are we seeing Zelda's adventure of how she went through everything separately from us? Or are these just the cutscenes I saw before? I think they might be the cutscenes I saw before. No, that's Impa saving her, isn't it? Yeah, this is showing their path through everything. That's kind of neat. She had a really easy trip through all this when Impa just did everything for her. Like the first game's big thing was like, it's 3D, and then on top of that, it had all the insanity of time travel in its storyline halfway through. The second one went crazy and was like, yo, everybody has a set schedule and goes to different places at different time of day, and there's a 3-day loop, and it's an apocalypse time travel loop, so that's already crazy, but also you can do a bunch of choices and side quests that change how each storyline plays out for each part of the world, and like Majora's Mask is crazy. Then Wind Waker was like, there's a boat. It's a big old ocean, and you sail around on a boat. So it's its innovation, its gimmick was to have a vehicle. And then Twilight Princess, they're like, there's a wolf. Which, I mean, like, it's kind of like having a vehicle. You transform into an alternate form where you get around faster. It's specifically an alternative to Epona, which Epona specifically is not available in the wolf sections of the game. It's not always a vehicle, but it's a transformation that sometimes fills the role of vehicle and sometimes fills the role of doing. It's like a vehicle that is simultaneously a dungeon item, and that, like, whenever you get a dungeon item, it serves certain purposes in the environment that you accomplish different things. So it's kind of a hybrid one. The wolf is the most interesting version of this thing. Then they have what is perhaps the biggest flop of all, which is Skyward Sword has the Loft Wing. Wow, the Loft Wing. I love the Loft Wing. You know, you're born, like, you're destined to be tied to each other. It's so important to you. They set up at the beginning of the game that it's just so integral to who you are as a person, and you're bonded for life. Anyway, we haven't used the Loft Wing in any meaningful capacity since before the Song of the Hero part of the game. Like, we had our first lap through all the zones, then we had our second lap through all the zones, then we cure the whale to start the Song of the Hero section of the game, and the process of dealing with the whale was the last time we ever used the Loft Wing, and then it just quietly vanishes from the story. It doesn't even show up in the cutscenes. Like, I was going into the final boss fight being like, this doesn't really feel like it's gonna incorporate the Loft Wing. Like, where's the part where I need to, like, do an air assault against, like, I don't know, a pig blimp or something to defeat Proto Ganondorf's blimp or whatever the hell's going on here? Like, when are they gonna go back and remember the Loft Wing is in this game? And then they didn't go back to it at all. In fact, there are multiple other vehicles in this game, like the fucking boat you use to go around in the desert sands. Like, the time travel boat is a cooler vehicle than the Loft Wing, and it's only used for one level. But the Loft Wing, like, from the beginning, it was doomed to be an underutilized thing because it flies, which is like cheating. Like, how do you have a dungeon-y, like, puzzle-solvey exploration game if you can just fly everywhere? So, like, that's obviously a problem. So their workaround was just to cut you off from being able to even use the Loft Wing in any of the real part of the game. So that's already a bummer. But they still could have, like, had a Loft Wing segment of some sort happen in each major storyline or something. And, like, also, like, play up, like, Link's bond with his Loft Wing. Maybe his Loft Wing even saves him in the final segment somewhere. Like, the Loft Wing's a sentient creature, or I don't know, sentient's the right word or whatever. It's a live creature, and they're supposed to be bonded with each other. But the game forgets about it, and it's on the cover of the game, and I'm like, what? Like, Fee isn't on the cover of the game, but the Loft Wing is. But if Fee at least is in the game all the way through, I think Fee's not on the cover of the game. I could be wrong. I'm not gonna check right now. I just remembered I mostly just remember my thumbnail, which I made, that has the Loft Wing on it. Let's see. Skyward Sword cover. Ooh, was I wrong about the entire idea? Okay, no, that's a... Which of these was the most common cover? One of them has the Loft Wing on the cover, but I don't know which one was the most common cover. There's a golden cover, and then there's one that's just Link with his sword up. Hey, Loftwings! Remember these characters? They each had a quest. Like, everyone has their own Loftwing, and each Loftwing has its own personality and, like, appearance. They had to have planned something better for them, right? Like, they had to be planning something in there. And then just kind of didn't go with it. But this game's, like, bursting with content, so I can't... It's hard to feel like it was cut. Unless it was just the limitations of the Wii? Maybe incorporating the flying and the Loftwing into most of the core gameplay was just too difficult for what the Wii can handle with all of its loading gates. That might be something. Bye! It's good to know that Groose got to not die down there. How did we get up here? Wait, how do we... Look around us. As a child, I always dreamed of a world below. I wanted to see the surface with my own eyes and feel the land's warm breeze on my skin. When did I get... Okay. When did I get the sail? No, she gave me the sail, right? Like right here. And then she pushed me off this cliff. I think that's how I got the sail. Okay, so the Hylians, or the Skyloftians or whatever, they do have sails. So maybe Groose and Zelda were both able to ride up here, and then their mounts got to them just like they did with me. I just never see anyone else use these things, so I was like, wait, can anybody else get up there? Because I use the bird statues. I actually don't know how I get up here. Does the bird statue just blow me up? Can I use the bird statue to blow other people up here? Can everyone use bird statues? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Look around us. As a child, did I read this already? I always dreamed of a world below. I wanted to see the surface with my own eyes and feel the land's warm breeze on my skin. I think I want to live here. I always want to feel solid ground beneath my feet. See the clouds above my head. And watch over the Triforce. Wait. You always want to have your feet on the solid ground. You want to stay on the surface. Here. Oh, right! The temple's on the ground right now. The temple's currently on the ground. We're not in Skyloft. Wait, the birds came down. Wait, the birds came down here? What? The thing where they wouldn't go below the clouds went away? Was it... Were they following Hylia's orders? Like as an entire species? Because Hylia was like, no, I don't go below the clouds. Gotta keep my Hylians safe up there. Because they just came down here, but I don't remember it ever being established that the clouds themselves are like an evil force or anything. Maybe Thunderhead, but not the clouds as a concept everywhere across the whole sky. Wait, what did I miss here? What about you, Box? What will you do now? Oh yeah, I should explain this, because I don't know if I ever explained it. I think I went this whole playthrough without saying it in the videos, but maybe somewhere in the comments. So, to answer the usual riddle about why my character's named a particular thing, which I think I usually say in the finale, he's named Box because he's named after bauxite, which is a common source of aluminum, which is used in planes. That's the connection, it's the flying game. So I went down the path of like planes, aluminum ore is commonly found in bauxite. His name's Box, there we go. That's why it's spelled that way, but pronounced that way, and not Bo. We did it. Ta-da. Is it going to do the classic... Oh, it's filling up with blue. I briefly thought, is it going to do the classic Nintendo, like old retro Nintendo thing where it just freezes here forever until you reset your console? That's how games used to end. If they ended. Some of them just broke if they kept going. No, I don't want to start hero mode right now. Are you sure you want to return to the title screen without save? I guess continue means save, not start hero mode. What? I guess this is the only way to save, is to start hero mode. You can't just save and quit and be like, you know what, I'm good for today. I think it's just going to launch right up. It's like, I don't really necessarily want to do that. I just want to... Okay. That was phrased weirdly, I guess. Hero mode, I guess. For people that really want to play the whole game again. I mean, yeah. It's nice to have the option. I've got so many other games to play that playing one game twice, it's really got to earn it. Yeah, so that was Skyward Sword. It was pretty alright. I enjoyed it more than some of the Zeldas, less than some of the other ones. It does have gaping issues, which I was just getting into when I talked about like the innovation curve of the Zelda franchise. There really is like a sort of thing where like the first two 3D Zeldas were crazy innovative, and then Wind Waker, which is beautiful but also incomplete, its big innovation was there's a boat. Use it to get around a bit. It's like, okay, well, And I also especially don't like that innovation, that particular choice very much, because I think Wind Waker is one of the least fun worlds to explore, because it's just a bunch of completely disconnected islands you can go to in any order. And yeah, you can't do them in any order. There's like obstacles you can't get past till you get certain things, but you don't know what the obstacles are till you go to each island. So that kind of just gets annoying, actually. Like, because the game's not built around you getting items in a particular order, or even being able to like solve problems in different ways. You just kind of awkwardly land on a bunch of different islands and be like, ah, can't do this one. All right, back to my boat where I sail this empty blue void for a few more minutes till I get to the next place that I then see if I can do anything at. There's a lot of frustrated commenters that are like, no, you don't have enough items yet, just do it later. So it's like, okay, so I'm supposed to ignore exploring. They give you exploring, but you're not supposed to do any exploring until you hit a certain threshold, where it's like a decent amount of like, I have enough items now exploring or something. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Breath of the Wild did that so much better now that it kind of makes Wind Waker obsolete. And so its primary contribution is just the fact that it has a boat at this point, more so than its open world. And its boat is not, just doesn't have much going on. It's just kind of boring. The King of Red Lions being a character is an interesting thing, where they start giving you different companions in each game to replace Navi. Like, that's fine, but the actual act of sailing just wasn't much, and wasn't great. The wolf's definitely my favorite. It does howling to replace the ocarina, and it has like a more difficult, complicated version of playing music, which is kind of interesting. We have to get the timing right-ish, and that's kind of neat. It has like its own combat and movement, although it's really simplistic. So you don't want to spend too much time with it because it's not that good, but it's still better. It's still mechanically more. The wolf is more mechanically interesting than the boat or the Skywing, the Loft Wing. It's just the Loft Wing and the boat just don't really have anything. So it's not. It's kind of you're kind of damning the wolf with faint praise. The wolf also just looks cool, so that's neat. I imagine there's probably a better wolf experience though if you play Okami. Speaking of Zeldas, like, there's all these 2D Zeldas to get to in the future, but there's also 3D Zelda-likes, and games that are known for being vaguely like Zelda. I've already played Beyond Good and Evil, and at some point I need to get around to Okami. This is a well that never runs dry. But yeah, since they seem to not be that massively innovative from game to game, and they kind of just iterate, and kind of their big gimmick is just a different version of a previous gimmick. I was just kind of leading towards the idea that, like, obviously the next one's probably going to be another take on Breath of the Wild, but if they find themselves wanting to, like, redefine the franchise a bit again, wouldn't mind having a spiritual successor to Majora's Mask be the next, like, direction the franchise goes in, because it feels a little unfair that we got, like, a trilogy of Wind Wakers, kind of, but not a trilogy of, like, Majora's Masks, which are just, Majora's Mask is just more interesting than Wind Waker. But no, of the 3D ones, yeah, I think my favorite ones were Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess, which is, I think there's an upswell of Majora's Mask support, and that's not an uncommon thought, but I think Twilight Princess might not be very loved in some cases. It kind of sounds like it's most popular to think that Wind Waker is the best of the three most recent ones, or of not the most recent ones anymore because Breath of the Wild's out, but between Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, and Wind Waker, people seem to like Wind Waker the most, and I don't get it, because I think that's maybe the worst. It might be the worst one of all of them. I want to like it. It's beautiful. I love the designs of everything visually. Like, it's one of my favorite visual designs for a Zelda game, but they straight up ran out of game and then wasted your time for a long time because they wanted it to be longer, but also didn't have any more game, and its world is boring. And it's just, but I like the town because it has one of the best towns. Like, yeah, This is the thing about talking about something as being the bad one in Zelda, is that it's still you're still talking about a relatively narrow variance of quality where none of them are actually bad. And that might be some of the slightly somewhat exaggerated take that is often directed towards Skyward Sword, is that people often take it. It has such a reputation of being the bad one that people often see it as the one you shouldn't play. And it's like, no. It's not it's not Mass Effect Andromeda. Like, it's not that dramatic. It's the one that people maybe prefer the least out of the entire lineup, but it's like, it's pretty alright by and large. Unless you hate the motion controls way more than I did, and I already didn't like them very much. Like, it could be a deal breaker for some people, I guess. For me, it was just kind of a cloud over the whole thing where I'm like, would prefer it if it wasn't like this. But yeah, it was always gonna have motion controls because it's the Wii one. It's on the Wii, and they made the Wii, so they have to embrace the Wii, or things get really awkward if even the people that made the Wii don't embrace Wii controller inputs and instead we're just like, yep, we made a new Zelda game for the Wii. It only uses the Gamepad Pro or whatever. It just uses that controller that's shaped like an Xbox controller, and all the Wii owners would be like, what? But that's unfortunate. I get why they did it. I just wish they didn't do it. So see you guys tomorrow, probably, based on whenever this comes out. And we'll see what Patreon shows next for the next game. It's been a while. This was almost 100 episodes, and I'm just kind of decompressing now at this point, I guess. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what people will pick next. It's always an exciting thing, seeing what the audience, what the underswell of support is for what the audience just collectively really wants to see next. We haven't really touched base for a while because this game took like more than 3 months or maybe even 4 months to get through on the current schedule, and that's a chunk of time. But hey, people don't have to worry about Zelda having a chokehold on the Patreon anymore, because we're pretty much out of them. The 2D ones are way less popular on Patreon, so their chance of winning is decreased, but they're also shorter usually, which is also friendlier. I guess technically Age of Calamity could win, but that seems less likely because it's not like a proper Zelda game. It's a third-party spin-off. But as far as the future of this franchise and this channel goes, I'll probably always play a Zelda game every year, or a Zelda game or a Zelda-like spin-off like Okami, for example. Maybe more frequently, somewhere in the vague range of 6 to 12 months, I'll probably always play a Zelda game. 6 months might be a little too frequent, just because the games themselves take like a month or much longer to beat, depending on how long each game is. And so playing one every 6 months could easily be like, I spend a third of my life playing Zelda all the time, which is like a little too dense, but I also don't want it to be too long between playthroughs. So it's just gonna live in the territory of Yakuza, where I'm like simultaneously trying to get it, like there's new ones coming out, although much slower than Yakuza does, and I'm trying to beat the existing backlog of ones that exist. And so I just kind of space them out at arbitrary intervals that feel frequent enough that the franchise isn't getting ignored, but infrequent enough that I'm not getting burned out on the franchise. And there's just kind of a pace where it's like, every now and then I get an opening in the schedule and it's like, the time feels right. Maybe it's time to do this again. And then we hop on and do it again. I'll probably play each new Zelda game as it comes out, because unlike Yakuza, I don't have to have them all played in chronological order, because they're not connected by a story. So basically, whenever a new Zelda game comes out, I'll play it, and if it takes too long between new Zelda games, then I'll be like, it's about time to play one of the ones in the backlog then. And we'll just kind of feel it out based on that. And it'll be a little arbitrary because that's how things do. Most obvious next candidates are that Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is coming out, but I still also need to do the DLC for Breath of the Wild, which involves the fact that I need to go back into Breath of the Wild and like kind of relearn how to play it again. Maybe I'll start a new file on in my free time and just fuck around just to get used to playing the game again first, if I have the time. Because I don't remember how to play Breath of the Wild at all, so awkwardly playing a DLC for it's rough when I'm like, how does crafting do, and what are the tools like? Like, it's kind of like playing a DLC for a Zelda game this late is kind of like if I like quit my Skyward Sword playthrough 80% of the way through, then 3 years later picked it up for the final couple of dungeons, and I was like, how do I play fuck? Except even worse, because that game has a crafting system and this game mostly doesn't, so it's it's actually more complicated than this one. But if Age of Calamity is drawing from anything, it's probably going to be drawing from stuff that we may have learned from the second DLC, so I probably want to play the second DLC for Breath of the Wild before I play the prequel Dynasty Warriors game. But I don't know, we'll feel it out. We'll feel it out. If it goes anywhere, it'll probably go in the AAA slot, which alternates with classic games, so I don't know, might take a while to get through all these. There's an infinite, endlessly expanding backlog of games to play, and so I never want to make too many promises, because once you see the logistics involved in trying to actually plan how to cover all these different games, you start really realizing how impossible it is to have the strongest grasp on what's going to happen, and you're always excluding stuff. So I'm just gonna close this out. I'm gonna go to bed. See you guys later. Hope you hated it.